Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to a new episode on our channel. And today I'm not going to talk about a very nice person. I'm going to talk about a tyrant, someone who loved to spill blood. I'm going to talk about Hajjaj ibn Yusuf ath-Thaqafi. Now, Hajjaj was one of the most ruthless and also efficient governors of the Umayyid Caliphate. He was appointed as the governor over Hijaz and then over Kufa, Iraq, by the Khalifa Abdul Malik ibn Marwan. Now, Hajjaj and his father were ordinary school teachers. They used to teach Quran to the children, and somehow they became close to the Khalifa. And Hajjaj ended up being the head of security for the Khalifa. And then he went on to become one of his most trusted governors. Now, the thing about Hajjaj was that he was more loyal to the Khalifa than the Khalifa himself. At the mere shubha or doubt that someone wanted to rebel against the Khalifa, he would execute them. He would execute people for the slightest disobedience, as he saw it. Anyhow, Abdul Malik, as we said, sent him as the governor to Iraq. Now, Iraq, they had a history of rebelling against the Khalifa or supporting rebellions. They were disobedient towards the Khalifa. And they needed someone to strengthen their foothold in Iraq. And Hajjaj was the man chosen for the job. So it is said Hajjaj set out in a small group of soldiers, about 12 people, with a small guard. And he entered the masjid and he climbed the mimbar and sat down. The people came into the masjid, they started gathering, and Hajjaj was silent. And he remained silent until the people thought that he was scared to speak. He was nervous, frightened to speak. And they started making fun of him. One man, he stood up and he had taken some stones and he said, "Shall I not throw him?" And then he said, "Qabbaha Allahu Bani Umayyah." May Allah make the faces of Bani Umayyah ugly. How could they appoint someone like this over us? And then Hajjaj stood up and started speaking. And it is said that this man who had taken the stones started falling from his hand without him noticing. This was the eloquence and the fierceness of Al-Hajjaj. He said when he had entered, he had covered his face partially with the imama, with the turban. And he stood up and he said, "I want to explain some parts of his eloquent khutbah to you." And this is studied in Arabic literature as a sample for eloquence. One of the most famous khutbahs in Arabic literature. He said, "Ana ibn Jala wa talla'u thanaya." I am the well-known one, or the one whose traits are well-known. Wa talla'u thanaya. Talla', someone with experience. I am the experienced one, thanaya, in difficult matters and able to take care of them. Mata ada'il imamata ta'rifuni. When I take off the head covering, you shall know me. And he took off his head covering. And then he said, Ya ahl al-Kufa, O the people of Kufa, inni la ara ru'usan qad ayna'at wa hana qatafuha. I can see heads which have become ripe like a fruit. And it is time to cut them off. And I am the one for it. وَكَأَنِّي أَنظُرُ إِلَى الدِّمَاءِ بَيْنَ الْأَعْمَائِمِ وَاللِّحَى. And it is as if I am looking at blood between turbans and beards. إِنِّي وَاللَّهِ يَا أَهْلَ الْعِرَاقِ مَا يُكَعْكَعُ لِي بِالشِّنَانِ مَا يُكَعْكَعُ لِي بِالشِّنَانِ. This is an expression. The shinan is the water bag made out of animal skin. When it is dry, it becomes stiff. And when you shake it, it makes a noise. So this is a method. This is a saying the Arabs had فلان لا يقعقع له بالشنان. For someone who is not deceived easily, who is not scared of easily. Because the Arabs, they would shake the shinan to call the camel or to scare off the crows. So فلان لا يقعقع له بالشنان. He's not someone who is easily scared of or deceived. ولا يغمس جانبي كتغماس التين. I will not be tested. I will not be examined like the examining of a fig. Like you test a fig for ripeness, you shall not test me. وَلَقَدْ فُرِرْتُ عَنْ ذَكَاء. فَرَّ الدَّابَّة is to check the teeth of an animal to determine its age. So he's saying, I have been chosen carefully. I have been examined and I have been handpicked for the job. وَفُتِّشْتُ عَنِ التَّجْرُبَةِ وَفُتِّشْتُ عَنْ تَجْرُبَةِ. And I have been discovered by experience. وَإِنَّ أَمِيرَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ أَطَالَ اللَّهُ بَقَاءَهُ. For really the Amirul Mu'mineen, may Allah lengthen his life. نَثَرَ كِنَانَتَهُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ. He spread his quiver, case of arrows, in front of him. فَعَجَمَ إِيدَانَهَا. And he examined the arrows. فَوَجَدَنِي أَمَرَّهَا عُودًا وَأَسْلَبَهَا مَكْثَرًا. And he found me to be the bitterest wood and the hardest to break. فَرَمَاكُمْ بِي. And he shot you with me. لِأَنَّكُمْ طَالَمَا أَوْدَعْتُمْ فِي الْفِتْنَةِ. For you have been long traveling in civil strife. وَاتَّجَأْتُمْ فِي مَرَاقِدِ الضَّلَالِ. And you have been sleeping in the beds of misguidance. وَاللَّهِ لَأَحْزِمَنَّكُمْ حَزْمَ السَّلَمَةِ. I will bind you like the binding of Salama. Salama is an old tree that they used to have in the Badia, in the desert. And as you can see, it has a lot of branches. So if you want to cut it, you need to bind and tie its branches first. So he's saying, I will tie you. I will control you like the branches of the Salama tree. وَلَأَدْرِبَنَّكُمْ دَرْبَ غَرَائِبِ الْإِبِلِ. And I will hit you like the hitting of the strange camel. Because the camel, if an outsider comes into the herd, if a strange camel tries to come into the herd and drink the water, the other camels fight it and expel it. So he's saying, I will hit you like the strange camel. فَإِنَّكُمْ كَأَهْلِ قَرْيَةٍ كَانَتْ آمِنَةً مُطْمَئِنَّةً يَأْتِيهَا رِزْقُهَا رَغَدًا مِنْ كُلِّ مَكَانٍ فكفرت بأنعم الله فأذاقها الله لباس الجوع والخوف بما كانوا يصنعون. So this is an example in the Quran. You are like the people of a city which was safe and secure. Its provision was coming to it from every direction, abundantly. رغدا. But it denied the favors of Allah. So Allah made it taste the envelopment of hunger and fear for what they have been doing. وَإِنِّي وَاللَّهِ مَا أَقُولُ إِلَّا وَفَّيْتُ. I don't speak except that I fulfill what I say. وَلَا أَهُمُّ إِلَّا أَمْدَيْتُ. I do not intend except that I carry it out. وَلَا أَخْلُقُ إِلَّا فَرَيْتُ. And I do not think except that I execute. Subhanallah. So this was Al-Hajjaj ibn Yusuf ath-Thaqafi. And unsurprisingly, after the appointment of Hajjaj, the foothold of Banu Umayyah in Iraq became firm and strong. And there is no doubt that Hajjaj did terrible things. He killed the Sahabi, Abdullah ibn Zubair. He killed the Tabi'i, Sa'id ibn al-Jubair. And he killed many, many others. And a lot of them were innocent. So there is no doubt that Hajjaj was a tyrant and a zalim, but before he died, he spoke some remarkable words. He said, Allahumma ghfir li, fa inna an-nasa yaz'umuna annaka la taf'al. Oh Allah, please forgive me, because the people allege that you shall not do it. Subhanallah. And Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, the fifth rightly guided Caliph of Islam, he said, I envy Hajjaj over two things. I envy the enemy of Allah, Hajjaj, over two things. His love of the Quran and generosity towards the people of the Quran and these words that he spoke before dying. The biography of Hajjaj is very interesting, and he was extremely eloquent. All the ulama, they agree that he was fasih, he was eloquent. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing, and inshallah, I will see you